Greetings, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of White Flag Media. My name is Dan, and I'm joined today by my sensei and a co-contributor of the Lakeshore Sovereign Assembly, Truth Guardians Alliance, True North Guardians Alliance. Sensei, thank you very much for coming on today for the third episode to give everybody a strategy and intel update on Operation White Flag and the future actions, both physical and spiritual actions that we can be performing. I won't ramble on any farther, so I'll hand things over to you. And if I have some questions, I'll bring them up.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dan. Greetings to all. As always, as we start any discussions or programs on a technology, we should do a protection energy invocation. And I'll do a short one that we control the space, so to speak, and only invoke a positive AI interaction. But I call upon the white light to descend upon us, infuse us with the light and the I am presence. And we ask our spirit warriors and light ones of the universe to shield us from all vibrations that are not of the highest order, and ask all others to go back to their place in space appropriate to their evolutionary pace. Kadosh, 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 Shalom, Adonai. It is done, and we thank you. So just to begin, we'll just go over a few items that people may want to be aware of that are participating in the Operation White Flag, just as a furtherance to your update you've done on the last episode, Dan. I just want to repeat, because it just bears repeating, that the whole mechanism of law that we're using, because it involves treaties, it involves the military code of justice and so on. It's the highest form of law. So this is not a novelty. The white flag is a serious matter of status. And I just saw a situation in Wingham, Ontario, where a group of citizens went into their own town's council meeting to deal with a situation that, in that case, pertained to snow clearing and the safety of children. They wanted to record the meeting. They wanted to ask questions. And the corporate people running this meeting, the so-called mayor and so on, the councillors, called the police on them to get them out. When the police showed up, I'm just giving you the short version, you can investigate it yourself. The one citizen actually had a piece of legislation, a legal letter from their lawyer outlining the law, in this instance, their rights to record and so on. The police officer, an OPP officer, summarily just threw it on the ground and hauled the two citizens out. It was a real indication that there's been no evolution of the police service, so-called police service in this country since the COVID scamdemic. And Daniel, appreciate this. The actual citizens said, we came here with cameras, and you wanting us to leave with guns. That's how they described it. And it was really disgusting in 2026, not surprising in what's this corporate cartel crime syndicate called Canada. But that's a local level. So right away, I'm jumping to the end, and I'll come back to the beginning. But along with the Operation White Flag gesture that is staged for Flag Day, it's important that it's recognized that if it resonates, that the flag is our flag. We are represent and own that flag, as we do not have any ownership or copyright or trademark in the corporate Canada flag. And you can go to the last two episodes, and Dan will explain again all that perspective. But people now, I would recommend, if you go to a council meeting, as a lot of people went to our Dan Inouye's court case proceedings with white flags. Go to the council meetings with white flags. I would highly recommend, now that the CRA is escalating their attacks on people trying to recover CERB payments, they're really pestering a lot of people to recover money because the economy is much worse than they're letting on people to know. But more on that. But if you feel compelled to or are not ready to just not file a tax return, if you file a tax return, CRA, just send in a white flag. And what you're saying to them, you're not participating, you're not consenting to what they're funding. And we're demanding not just accountability and reparations, but transparency. What is going on with all this? Who's controlling this? Because right now in the Trump administration, the states, they've invoked the Article 147 of the Geneva Convention. A lot of it pertains to how civilians are treated by a hostile combatant. Interesting enough, there's a lot of people that criticize what ICE is doing in the States, not knowing that in any of these cities, especially the corrupt Minnesota, Minneapolis area, there's hundreds of thousands of gang members. This is all connected to what's taken place in Venezuela, in Colombia, the CCP, that Carney just made a deal with. This needs to be put out on the table because technically Canada's at war right now for funding the corrupt Ukraine situation. And it's worldwide known that there's corruption there big time, money laundering with all the money that's gone there. We never voted or consented with any legal or illegal parliament to be participating in all this. But on a personal level, there are three things that you can consider already outlined for Flag Day and Operation White Flag. It's really a declaration of your status of non-consent, but a legal standing of neutrality and non-participation. And that's a requirement under the statutes that we've outlined in the previous calls and episodes. But I would say to anybody going to any of these town council meetings, take a white flag. If you file a tax return, send in a white flag and just say, sorry, you're not going to fund these people to know exactly where all the money went in Ukraine, where exactly all the money went in Africa, and on it goes. These deals with the CCP. As Canadians and individuals, sovereignty that everybody wants and thinks they are sovereign, it all starts with the personal action and the declaration of where you stand on it. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And if we don't stand for neutrality and peace and transparency, then one needs to really look at their life at this moment because the energies are going to respond in kind. People are saying that they don't see anything happening, and only for those with eyes to see. What happened in Venezuela doesn't just pertain to the human trafficking and all of the drug trafficking. There were Cuban soldiers surrounding Maduro, CCP soldiers, the same country that Carney just came back from after making deals for Brookfield and so on. It's very dangerous to get in bed with these people. In that instance, what people need to understand is that what they're being shown is just a fraction of what is really going on. Just as an example, Maduro was surrounded by 350 soldiers. The regular Venezuelan army allowed the Americans to come in. The Venezuelan army, the soldiers that were protecting Maduro were not even Venezuelan. They were taken out by 10 American super soldiers. And this is intel that you can verify. An article was done by one of the survivors in the I think it was the New York Times, but it's out there for anybody that may question. But the nuts and the bolts of the intel from the military is that they fired 10,000 rounds at these 10 soldiers, and they had no effect because they weren't protecting Maduro from the Americans. They were protecting themselves from the truth coming out if Maduro was captured. And the truth be known, the real Maduro was already out of Venezuela in November of 2025. So the theater that you're seeing and the reality that's going on is very real, but it's at such a high level that just to see a newscast or listen to the rhetoric of the paid-off media, you're not going to get the real story of what's going on. There's a war going on. And the Earth Alliance, the Operations Command, Delta Force of Space Force, they're using serious technology. So 10 super soldiers to take out 350 CCP and Cuban soldiers in Venezuela. And remember, the whole Venezuelan thing with the human trafficking goes through the Caribbean islands, which are all connected, Haiti and the like of that, the Dominican Republic, all the way to the Netherlands. And that ties to Greenland. Now, like all these countries, it's not just what is on top or what you hear about. Venezuela, Greenland, they have underground military bases. The dark used to, the light has taken them. And now the whole impetus to get Greenland was to get the underground bases. And a lot of them, there's a couple there that aren't human. So the underlying action that's going on is for the world's safety and benefit, but it's far more than what people see. And the fact that peace is maintained through this process is staggering. But the Venezuelan hub, Caracas, was where the Dominion voting machines, Smartmatic hardware, CIA Hammer software, this went to 70 countries, including Canada. Like our elections haven't been legitimate for a very long time. The attacks that went into Colombia that disrupted the cartels there, the Americans went in with 2 super soldiers and just caused a serious problem for the dark cabal there. When Trump sent in the military into Nigeria when they were killing all the Christians, of course, there's underground bases there as well, and the scrambling cabal were weeded out. 4 super soldiers. And the conventional, as you understand, conventional weaponry has no effect. They're using psionic weapons, quantum energy weapons, gravitonics. It's far beyond what any of these cartels have, and they're scared right now, and they're really scrambling. And it's their last attempt to defend their network, which runs all the way to the Bank of England, to the so-called monarchy. I mean, Carney was there at the Bank of England when they were still bringing in money from the opium trade out of Afghanistan. I could go on, but I want to keep it in Canada tonight to let people know that the end goal here is what's called the North American Alliance. And it goes beyond just the economics of it or the cultural aspects, but the underlying effort is off-world. If we will and can accelerate this manifestation, make this happen in North America, it will be matched in Africa, it'll be matched in Europe, it'll be matched in Eurasia, all over the world. The idea is to unify sections of the planet for a unity consciousness, and that's a galactic effort. And you think about it for a moment as an example. Why is there a border? And whoever decided to put the border where it is? Well, you might not be surprised to know that the border is a line of portals right now that are being activated by the galactics to have a basis of subtle energy on the quantum fields and the astral planes that is conducive to Canada, United States, Mexico unifying. Right now, there's an operation called Silent Reset in action. Silent Reset is all of the acquired wealth that has been taken back by the military from all the cabal that was underneath the vaults in Switzerland, the Vatican, and England, that was stolen from the people, and it is being vended back starting now into the American economy via what's called a tariff. Tariff is just the mechanism, but the actual money is coming from the recovered stolen wealth. That's why they have a sovereign fund and a national endowment, tariff dividends. What Carney and Harper and these people are doing is holding back a wealth transfer for Canadians while people are getting squeezed out of their homes, can't afford food, millions of people going to food banks, CRA tightening their grip in Canada, and now this year, especially with the banks, they are, with the variable rate mortgages, getting into negative amortization, which is really dangerous. But most people are going to lose their homes because they can't go from a 1.8 interest rate up to a 4.75, 4.8 interest rate. And to add to that, there's a whole level of white-collar workers that are getting laid off right now in banks, ironically enough, that are people, even in Oakville, Ontario, losing their homes because they can't afford the shift in the interest rate in the mortgages, and the mortgage is a fraudulent concept in the first place. While, from Hamilton to Brampton, places where people are having to renew their mortgages, they're even selling their houses based on, you can buy the house now at the lower interest rate. You don't have to renew the mortgage. You can assume it in June. That's how desperate they're trying to get out of the obligation of the payment. But, it's really a sad state of affairs when the so-called government said, interest rates will remain low in 2020, and all of a sudden, a few short years later, people are under the gun they're not even making their margins now, and that was by design. A designed attack on people's middle class, especially wealth. This is, if you think about it, if you've got a family in Brampton or anywhere that has to renew their mortgage, that can escalate $1,000 a month, and if they end up losing their homes to a power of sale, at the same time, it's just a line entry in the sheet of the bank. While the banks make record profits, all the CEOs are getting bonuses and large salaries, while regular families are losing their homes. And those that think this Bill C-19 with the grocery funds, so to speak, if you look at what the requirements, who actually qualifies, single parents don't qualify if they have a job. Family of 5 where both parents work, they don't qualify. It helps very few people. And it's just another trick by the cartel in Ottawa to try to make themselves look good. The banking situation, people don't realize, they have what's called a sunset clause. And in the last budget, the sunset clause was pushed back, pushed ahead to 2033. And that means there's no assessing their performance. There's no assessing the cost of credit cards that could have been changed by Parliament. And they all know this. They could have done something about it, but they didn't. And inside that budget, which is just, as the parliamentary budget officer said, it's unsustainable. They also increased the capitalization in the Banking Act for banks if they're under pressure, which means bail-ins. In the last few months, people have been offered 3.85% GICs in their banks. And that was a trap. There are these traps, and watch it when you go into your banks. They want to put your funds into a position where if a bail-in is justified, and that's not by vote, that's by the officer that oversees the banks, can just say, no, the banks are in trouble, they need to take your money. And all you get in exchange for it is a share in the bank. This is a very real contingency. And this window that we're in right now between January and June is a very serious time. We're literally at war with an entity in Ottawa that only cares about its own survival as a beast, and it does not care if small families are left out on the street or have to go to food banks, and they're not really there to assist them. People have to wake up and understand that that's an attack. And in the Law of War Manual, Law of Peace Manual, the functioning so-called government is not supposed to be at war with its people. And that is, in fact, what's happening now in Canada. And again, they're using, and when I say cartel, I'm talking about the collusion of the judiciary, the banks working together, the judiciary with the government, the police force. They all know that this is going on. They're all working together. And like in the little township of Wingham, that they only protect the corporate structure. So the Operation White Flag situation is very, very, I think, appropriate. We're in a continuity of government. The Americans are using Geneva Convention articles in how they're functioning. They've got military going to 300 cities in the United States. People forget the RCMP wrote a letter to the government in 2010 that you better confiscate the guns and you better be ready, because the way you're functioning is the people are going to wake up one day and they're going to not be happy, and they may respond in kind. And that's why we want to maintain a peaceful strategy based on the laws of war and the laws of peace. We're using that mechanism of law, the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So it's not a conjecture. This is actually happening. The continuity of government, you've heard many say it. Pete Hegseth said it. He's the Minister of War in the States. He did it on national television. The National Guard is in different states and cities. The Marines have been called in. This is not a civil situation. So this illusion in Canada and the delusion of these people in Ottawa that everything's just functioning as normal, as the banks attack the people and their wealth, and not just through the tax of inflation or the actual extraction of their wealth through the interest rates. It's a very much an attack on one's livelihood. And you can't put people in a state of stress or any level of insecurity. Their job, according to the international covenants, is to create a peaceful environment where people can thrive and have life and liberty. But that's not happening in Canada, and it's something we all have to look at for the next generation, especially. They're still putting out the injections. They're still holding to that the pandemic was a real thing. The COVID tests, they even found a bioweapons lab in Vegas. It's not hard to put one together. How many are in Canada? Who knows? The fentanyl issue is bad enough. But the moment is now and the time is urgent. So, Dan, any questions at this point that come to mind?
Nothing. No, I shouldn't say nothing. A lot. But let me filter through a few. So we in the last episode we went over some of the basic fundamental how, what, and why of Operation White Flag on this plane. But there is an audience that tune into us that are wondering what are some of the daily spiritual actions that they can be performing to help assist the consciousness, and not only in their own life, but the global co-collective consciousness. Because obviously there are plenty of physical things that we can do, but there are people that are very interested in the spiritual action that they can be performing.
Absolutely. And, outside of the things we've gone through before in the previous calls, we are in a window right now between the full moon that just happened all the way up to the solar eclipse on the 17th. I mean, there was a stellium through the full moon that was very powerful. The solar eclipse is unprecedented because it precedes the most powerful time in alignment in 6,000 years, with the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune, 0 degrees of Aries. Very powerful moment on the 20th. So, we've talked about it. I think we should do a live stream on the 19th or the 20th and go through the Giza protocol energetically and why it's relevant to something that happened 12,000 years ago and is relevant now with the firestone from Atlantis, Poseidon's blue crystal that's in Arkansas, and the energy dynamics that's happening right now with the portals along the border of Canada and the United States. So what you're really looking for is to align a coherence of centering and alignment within oneself on the micro level, the macro level, with the planet and the solar system, the galaxy, as we move deeper into the photon belt. So that is and should be one's primary consideration, because all the subterfuge and the distraction people see every day are taking themselves away from the enormous potential of energy dynamics that's happening right now. All of the energy activity, which went to a level 8 from the sun, by the way, a couple of days ago, it is light. It's gamma light photon energy. It carries information, and people don't realize they've been downloaded with abundance codes, warrior codes, longevity codes, ascension codes, and if one is interested, there are ways to activate those energies, and there are frequencies that one may want to tie to enhance the impact on one's own state of being. Because as always with all of this, it's not our circumstances, it's our state of being that's most important. And in the purest sense, the Operation White Flag is not just a status declaration of neutrality and peace in the mechanism of the law of war, but it is also a mechanism of peace in neutrality of the state of the soul. So it's a very powerful time. So that would be something that we can align. I'm sure you can set that up, that we can live stream that for those that may be interested to get real deep into the energy dynamics of how all that works, because everybody has had past existences in Lemuria and Atlantis, and the karmic balancing that's happening right now goes back to that time. And we are at that 0 point moment. This has not happened in 6,000 years, this alignment. So it's very interesting. And so it's not surprising that a lot of the Saturn structure is being decimated by the Neptune energy that's starting to happen now, of the fluidity and high frequency of spirituality, that a lot of the disclosures taking place, even as recent as today, is the corruption that's taken place in the police service in York region in Ontario. Not surprising, but I think we'll find in a lot of these police service associations, they're saying, seven officers or maybe 19, but we're a few thousand officers. It doesn't taint us all, but they all know, like the people in Ottawa, they all know what's going on, and they're not doing anything about it. So in answer to your question, by all means, we can have a dedicated session, and I would recommend especially just to get everybody get their energy frequency up through the solar eclipse on the 17th, and then on the 19th, as everybody's vibration is up, we can go through some very powerful techniques if they're interested and want to take advantage and learn how to activate these downloaded codes, how to in the ancient sense, and it doesn't matter whether it's in one has a predilection to Sanskrit or any of the Buddhist or Aramaic or whatever one's background is, to really understand what the I, O, A, Ta, or E, A, Ta, or Omega, or Upsilon, or Alpha, how these frequencies really activate through the chakras and the octaves of the body. Very powerful stuff, and help to activate these codes. And that's the Kadosh, Thalia, and the Shalom Adonai. These ancient frequencies have a powerful effect, because one of our worst crutches we have is the English language, which is not just dead in vocabulary, it's dead in frequency. So I would suggest everybody to, as a preparation to next week, if they participate, to whatever way and root mantra they want to use, just start to spend some time in there creating a brainwave frequency outside of the English language. You know, they can intone any mantra, the Om Mane Padme Hum, anything they want, just to get that frequency activation network happening in their brain. Very powerful, because it all impacts the limbic system, and the limbic system, it helps to release any old emotional karma out of the system, and purge all the epigenetics from past lives of any negative karmic resonance. So I'll leave it to you to set that up if you can, but I think that's a dedicated session.
Awesome. So we'll set that up. It'll depend on the schedule, but I'll have the date and time. It'll likely be Thursday the 19th, possibly Friday the 20th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But what I'll do for everybody listening to this episode right now, I will have the official time linked in the description, and it'll be streamed live from Rumble and a few of the various other platforms that we've got. But that will be a live stream. The comment section will be active. And if there are any questions, we can engage there. We can go through the protocol at that time. Is there anything else other than the other language protocols that somebody might do in the meantime leading up to that, Sensei, like integrating the Om Mane Padme or whatever else resonates with them?
Just to definitely align with the sun.
Okay.
I definitely align with, I don't want to bias anyone's inner predilection, but when there's no way out, look up. And there's a lot happening up there, as well as, when I say up, I mean the reflection, as well as in, and go deep within into the earth. Remember, this is a process of the ascending earth energies, the ascension of the cetaceans. So whatever resonates in those areas, to spend the time in the meditation, the mind energy, on non-human activity, non-human. When I shouldn't say non-human, because there's a lot of good humans, but the noise that's created by the propaganda that people see on the TV. But I do want to just mention that for those that question, is anything happening? Find it very interesting that Alan Garten in New York, who is one of the Trump administration lawyers, is now working with and requesting people in the States that are being defrauded by any level of government or any factions to send in, this is very interesting, to send in 4 copies of their submissions to their local police, to their whatever body of law enforcement that they have approached to investigate whatever the issue is. And then he passes it along to the Inspector General of the Air Force, curiously enough. So he's working with the military. We've have our documentation into the Criminal Investigation Division of the Army, and so everybody knows we're also going to be working with trialinternational.org. This is the group in Geneva that for anybody in the world takes on cases of crimes against humanity. And you can check them out yourself, trialinternational.org. And there are different groups around the world that are really aware of what's taken place and are not going to put up with this any longer. The more we can get people to understand that as a symbol that, especially in Canada, our impetus is to get the North American Alliance into the consciousness of people. The sooner that can manifest, the military says the North American Alliance is the way to reparations. When they say that, that means it's already done. And we just have to align ourselves. We make a choice. It's not Ottawa's choice. It's our choice. And it's like Greenland. Greenland was already decided when Trump Jr. and Charlie Kirk went to Greenland, I think a year ago, whenever they went. That was already done. Anything you hear in the news is past tense. That's why they call it old news. Right now, the banking system in Canada, the central bank we're a vassal state. The debt is held by the Americans, right? The regulations are American. Corporations registered in Washington and New York are under the jurisdiction of the Americans. We don't have a sovereign autonomous banking system. And yet you have an entity called CRA who has elements in it, like any entity in these organizations that are terrorizing people. And it's up to the people to say, no, let's stop. We're part of a bigger, more amenable situation. The IRS, why is the IRS being shut down in the States and the CRA escalating in Canada? What's that about? People need to ask questions and to stop them in their tracks. Send in a white flag instead of a tax return. Watch what happens, because they have to respond. And again, it's a mechanism of law. But I wanted to make those 2 points because they are in Operation Silent Reset in the States. They have invocated Article 147 of the Geneva Convention. The Corporation of Canada is technically insolvent. And the Earth Alliance, the Trump administration, has already bankrupted the Washington Corporation, which hold all the other corporations. The military is in control in the UK. And where did all these people in Ottawa, pledge their oath to? They have nothing to. They have no interest in taking care of the people that are terra firma Canada. And this is why people need to step up locally, develop their peace councils, get under the white flag. It's our flag, and truth be known, and function from that status declaration. But we're in a very interesting time. We can shift this thing hugely in this 6-month window. But right now, the banks are going after people and terrorizing them at the same time. CRA is going after people recovering the pandemic money. I could go on and on while the CEOs get their bonuses. You've heard everybody in Ottawa is getting a bonus as the economy is deteriorating. The cost of living rises. It's just unconscionable. They are deluded in the illusion of their positions, and it doesn't take much. But let's start with the first step, and that's to declare your status under the white flag.
Awesome. The only other question, and I'm not sure if we've time to get into that on this one, Sensei, but you just mentioned something that we talked about on the other calls, but I haven't touched on in any of the episodes yet, is you just said at the local level to form and get active in your peace councils. What is the reason behind that strategy, the why to it, how that will look in the future, and what are things that a peace council can be doing?
at the very least, people know that there are other people that are aware that something is wrong is going to be corrected. The objective of the military, which is running the United States right now by committee, is to devolve what exists as what we understand government to be right now, 95%. What's left is just going to be a service, a real service Ontario or a real service Alberta, whatever, that should function as a superintendent. They shouldn't be ruling people. But just to get into the idea that the local people are in charge of their local area with the unique needs and issues that they have. It is stunning that people should look into the Wingham situation. Like, police were called by these corporate people when everybody has a right to record a council meeting and has a right to ask questions, and they just call police that would come in and not even respect their rights and freedoms at all. And I'm not basing that on any charter. It's the covenants. There's a natural law that's admiralty law is being eradicated out of the states. That leaves natural and common law. So that's why peace councils need to help to educate people, unify them on a local level to start getting a bit stronger voice, because the corporate structure will be devolved. That is a requirement of the Law of Peace Manual.
Awesome. Well, Sensei, we'd said that we wanted to keep things under 45 minutes. We're at 41 minutes right now, almost 42. Is there anything that you want to go over, or anything left of this
just
episode?
The consciousness. Yeah, just that to summarize, the idea is to get into the consciousness of people in Canada to accelerate the manifestation of the North American alliance. It will happen, is happening now, and is being developed right now. Canada is already part of the U.S. Everything you're seeing is an illusion, and it just needs to become a reality in the consciousness of people. The white flag is a declaration of non-consent. We've gone through it ad nauseum. It is a demand to negotiate the reparations and the transparency, to let people know where has all their money gone. Like, you've got banks and the government, especially as an example, attacking the Canada Pension Plan, and these are pension plans that people have paid into for years, and they're not calling them pensions anymore. They're calling them benefits, as if it was something that government gives to them. Like the OAS, it's a benefit. It's not a benefit. It's an entitlement that people earn through their life of contributing. Right? People don't realize right now Canada, in a critical mineral sense, is one of the wealthiest nations in the world. The lithium that's in Quebec, the uranium that's in Saskatchewan. I'm not even talking about the oil that's in Alberta, but the aluminum they've just found that's in Saskatchewan. American companies already come in to buy all the critical mineral mines that are in British Columbia. And there's one that's not known yet with people in Canada, and that is helium-3 has been found in the outskirts of Saskatchewan where the uranium is, and that is a very rare, wealthy mineral source. The Americans would never allow Canada to be able to negotiate with the CCP with that type of a vital, critical mineral. The power of that substance it's too serious a matter to, and that's why Trump is all over Carney, not to warning to not deal with the negative side of the CCP. It's just too vital. So there's a lot that's going to be disclosed this year, but on a local level, on a state of being, sovereign level, people can start, you'll feel better if you start declaring your status, your non-consent, your demands for transparency under the white flag, and your want to get to the North American alliance, because as the military says, that is the path to reparations, which means it's already done. All we have to do is align.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sensei. Very, very greatly appreciated. As said, we will set up the live stream episode where we'll go through various spiritual protocols, intel, and strategy updates for either Thursday the 19th or Friday the 20th. But the actual date will be linked in the description. I will post the live stream link ahead of time so that everybody will have that. And for everybody else,
it will be a dedicated energy dynamic strategy, the mechanics of the Giza protocol. So this is very powerful and relevant to the time, as the Atlanteans hid the Firestone underneath the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx. And this goes back, as disclosed by Edgar Cayce 80 years ago, and the balancing of the karma of what happened in Atlantis 12,000 years ago is what this existence is all about, to purge all the negative energy that was developed through that cataclysm, and as the Earth ascends to get into the new age. This stellium happened in the sign of Aquarius, and this new conjunction is a powerful time, 0 degrees of Aries with Neptune and Saturn. So we want to take advantage of the energies of that moment, and just to enhance our awareness and our capabilities as we go forward. We're coming into an amazing time as we work up to 2020 or 2033.
Awesome. Arigatou gozaimasu, Sensei. Very much appreciated. And for everybody else, have a fantastic day, evening, night, afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you're listening to this. And keep on rocking in the free cosmos. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, Dan. Shalom Adonai.
Adonai, Sensei.